If you like music production and you can read, then here's a load of great books that can help you improve your knowledge. My personal favourite is Mixing Secrets for the Small Studio. This helped me to really begin to understand mixing. It's simple to follow without being too technical, but it covers everything in a great amount of detail. And it really breaks everything down into nice chapters, and it's easy to follow. EQ, compression, leveling, reverbs, delays, effects. It's all covered in this book, and it's a great starting point. If you've been making music for a couple of years and you're just starting to try and get your music to sound better, then this is the perfect book for you. My second favorite is Mastering Audio by Bob Katz. He's a G, he's a legend in the mastering world. This has to be one of the best, most technical books written on the subject. It's probably the most advanced book I've read when it comes to tackling all those more nitty-gritty technical details. What happens when it comes to ADC, digital analog conversion, Nyquist theory, sample rates, bit depths, all of these kind of things, aliasing, and then more technical stuff on how to use compressors and limiters and all of these things, and it goes into mastering. So it's probably the best book for technical information on the subject of music production that I have come across. There's some great sections on monitoring, and I think one of my biggest takeaways from this book was try and keep your mixing level or your mastering level at a similar volume all the time, because the frequency response of your ear changes depending on the volume. It gets harder to know the acoustics of your room, for instance, if you're always changing the volume, because your hearing is always slightly changing based on how loud you listen to stuff. And my third favorite book is a new one I recently acquired, and that is Mixing with the Mind by Stavro. Mixing with Your Mind by Stavro. This was a really interesting book. This got me thinking outside of the box. After you've been doing this for a while, you come across the same information again and again, but I felt like this really made me think differently about certain concepts. He was mainly a recording and mix engineer, so it comes more from that recording engineer perspective. You learn a lot about microphone techniques, for instance, in this book. One interesting thing on this was that he has a concept of hardness, and that different microphones have a different hardness, and you need to pair hard microphones with softer sources, or hard sources with softer hardness microphones, which was really interesting. I'd never considered microphones in that way before. There's also a really nice chapter or a really nice section dedicated to how you should set up your compressor. It was a lot more methodical than anything I'd done before, which is normally tweak it until it sounds good. But here it was like, well, you should do this first, then this, then this, then this, because of this, and it was explained really well. Really interesting book, like very different to what you normally get. So yeah, really rate that book. So those were my top three, but there's a few other ones I want to share with you. I love mixing and mastering. That's why some of those books were in my top three. Books a bit broader are Melody in Songwriting by Jack Perricone. This was recommended to me by one of my mentors, David Sharp, who writes a lot of music for TV. And this was really great in helping me understand how to construct melody and the whole songwriting process in general. It is written with musical notation, so it's a little bit harder to follow if you don't know music theory and music notation, but you can still get the ideas from it even if you can't read the examples. But yeah, I learned a lot from this book, particularly how to use stable versus unstable chords and how to choose the right notes for the right chords kind of thing. Really interesting book. And if you want to improve more on the music composition side, this is a great book for that. Next one on the list is How Music Works by David Byrne. He was the guitarist and vocalist in the Talking Heads. This is a really interesting book. It's a bit more broad, I would say, more generally about music than in particular music production, but there's some interesting chapters on technology, particularly analog and digital technology, and also how spaces and environments tend to shape musical genres, which I thought was really interesting. It's a great kind of coffee table book just to pick up and have a flick through on a Sunday afternoon. I don't think I've read every single chapter in it, but I've just flicked through from time to time, and it's, yeah, really interesting. There's also a good chapter on music business and the financial side of the music industry, but we're going to look at that in even more detail in the next book. So just talked about music industry stuff. This one is the absolute Bible when it comes to the music industry. I refer back to this all the time. I don't know if you know, but I worked for Sony ATV and BMG for many years, but it's still something I've come back to if I ever need to drop in and learn something about sub-publishing or neighboring rights or anything about copyright or collection societies, and I just want to brush up on some things, licensing, then that's the book for it. It is all you need to know about the music business. One final book. This is Sound and Recording by Rumsey and McCormick. This is more of a textbook. It's a bit of a beefy boy. I read this when I was at university doing my music production degree, and there's a lot of information here. It's fairly broad, so it's covered everything: loudspeakers, microphones, acoustics. It's really informative. It is a little bit heavy going in places, but it's not one you're just going to flick through and read front to back. But when you want to learn a bit more about loudspeakers, go here. If you want to learn a bit more about microphones, go here. It's a very good, broad book about music production or sound and recording in general. And there's one other book that I don't have up here in physical form. It's Behind the Glass by Howard Massey. That's a really interesting book as well. It kind of looks at stories from famous producers and mix engineers and talks about all the different things that they have learned behind the glass. So yeah, it's a really interesting book. I recommend that one a lot. There's 2 volumes actually, both are good. So those are my favorite books about music production. If I've missed any, if there's any you think I should read that I haven't, then please let me know in the comments below. I love learning about this. It's my absolute passion. If you learn better from videos, then my channel has loads of videos, and I also have a load of video courses, and they are available on my website. I'll chuck a link in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on another video. Take care.